we're gonna go ahead and model this rifle, and for that I'm gonna need a couple of projections, couple of canvases to work from. One is going to be this side view, the main view basically, where I'm checking the scale and proportions. And then I've also imported another, I used the attached canvas and the origin to import the side view, and then the front view, the cutaway, giving me the idea of the profile of the upper receiver and the barrel. Not gonna worry about the inside detail, but there are several ways to solve this shape. One of them would be a lofting, so for that we can use these two canvases, sketch the profile of the beginning, sketch the profile of an end, then loft it together. But I'm just gonna go ahead and try sculpting. So I'm gonna switch to sculpting mode. I'm still gonna sketch, because it's gonna be the easiest way to achieve the shape that I want. So the shape is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna finish the sketch because I'm only gonna need this line. We're gonna go ahead and extrude it. I actually started on the back, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do symmetry, mirror duplicate, T-spline body. The mirror plane is going to be on the origin. I'm gonna hide the construction planes. I'm not gonna really need them for now. So the mirror plane is gonna be this side. Click OK. As you can see, I'm getting some overlapping, which is fine. We're gonna fix that real quick. Like that, and then we're gonna merge the vertices here. We only have two edges to merge, so it's not a big deal. Usually it's a bigger problem when you have a lot of faces. So we're gonna take this vertex to midpoint. That's one. It temporarily changes to the box shape, which is okay. It's just a preview mode. And then 2. And so this is the front, but it looks like in the end, or on the other end, it slightly changes the shape, and it also becomes kind of like more narrow. So let's just scale everything overall. This is going to be the end. And this is where it's going to become more narrow. So we're going to click Edit Form, pull it all the way to the back, scale it. This way we're getting this line right here. Then we will see if it will remain there. And I also wanted to fix some of these vertices. I'm actually gonna press Alt-1, which brings me to the box mode. I'm gonna take these, make sure that they're scaled and flat, same as here. Look at it from the side. This sharp edge is okay because when we're switching between Alt-1 and Alt-3, we're switching between the box mode and the smooth mode. So we're not gonna get anything sharp there, but we are getting this weird edge, which to me it feels like maybe it's a creased edge. Let's see if we can uncrease it. Yep, So if we smooth it, it's much smoother now. So the most important part is this form change from the front profile to the back, and you can see that there's some, it's getting narrower, something is happening, it's much better. But I wanted to realign this a little bit just to get a slightly different shape. And the good idea is to switch back and forth between the smooth mode and the box mode to see if you're getting the result that you want. This seems to be doing the trick. Let's just slightly adjust the front to get the more of a dip in here. I think the general rule is just like in sub-D modeling, where the closer it is to the real shape in the box mode, the better. So basically, you don't want any of this happening in your box mode. And also, this seems to be a lot more flat, kind of like this. I think this should be fine. If I needed a more sharp profile there, I can also take this whole edge, insert another one right next to it to fence it basically, and this will give you a much sharper profile on the bottom, which is a good tool to play around with if you're going for some very specific shape changes here. But we're not. I think for this particular iteration, this is going to be fine. This is like a decent representation of it. Let's just make sure we're doing the best with matching the shape here. This might become a problem later, so I'm inclined to have this whole and slightly longer, and then I'm just possibly going to trim it. So this should be it. We're going to finish the form. We get the form that we want. Let's turn off the component color. We don't really need that. I think this is good enough. Now we're going to sketch the handle and the buttstock. So basically the whole lower end. Let's go ahead and do that. Whenever I sketch, I try to start sketching with all edges being sharp. And there's a smooth transition right here, but I'm going to ignore it for now, because I need this to be intersecting. And then all of these are going to stay sharp for now. This little part we can add later if we need to. Maybe we'll change the way it's attaching the magazine. This is probably the only part where I'm going to go ahead and click and drag to get that curved edge. And now I'm gonna go with the fillet. Make everything smooth. This is not adding the fillet because we need to trim this end. Like this. Don't ever go too far with fillets because this is where you're gonna get, and this is an exaggeration, but even if it's a slightest, like tiniest thing like this, and you're zooming out too far, you're never gonna see it, so it's gonna ruin your day. So just don't go too far with the fillets. Let's add the fillets everywhere else we need them. And I'm not using one continuous fillet because more than likely all of these values are different, except for maybe here. This one is going to be different, so I'm just going to get another one. This should be good enough. Let's also sketch the inner part. Normally, you don't really need to pay attention to the dimensions. So as long as it makes sense in the profile view, you're good. See, so this is already happening here because this is not a smooth end. I didn't continue this properly. Hopefully this is gonna do it. If not, we're just gonna ignore it. Nope. We're just gonna ignore it. This is why you need to try and draw everything with one continuous line as much as possible. Again, another break in here. So this should do it for the handle. We need to make sure it's intersecting with our main body so that we can connect it. And then we can extrude it. Because we're extruding from the center, we're going to do extrude to being symmetric. Like this. This is not going to matter. So we're just not going to do it. I think, let's check just in case. Not the length, let's check face to face. That's only 4 millimeters, which is not the real dimensions, but as long as it makes sense in this profile view, we should be okay. Let's check with the references. Overall, it's not that thick. It's thicker in the back. So we're just going to stick with that. Just barely here. to have the smooth transition that we can fillet here. So yeah, we're gonna stick with this. And then treat the edges because they need to be smooth. If it's even possible. Let's see. Selecting the whole loop doesn't allow for this, so we may need to break it up. We can also introduce variable radius or not do the tangent chain. So uncheck that. This is as far as it's allowing this fillet to go. As you can see, this is allowing for much smoother fillet. And I wanted it to be as close as possible. So maybe it's just not thick enough.